Chris, hey, congratulations for Cannabis Buyers Club.
Thank you so much.
So, first of all, hey, congratulations the fact that it's being showcased at Tribeca this year. How do you guys feel about that?
Super honored. There's only a few allowed, so it's really cool that it got in.
Yeah, dream come true. Dream come true.
Most excellent. So, how did this documentary series came about? What originated, sparked you guys to do this?
Well, way back. And somehow I happened to meet someone who's a lot older than me, and his mentor. We were working on a business, and it, long story short, ended up opening the very first legal medical cannabis club after 215 passed for legalization for medical. And at that time, Dennis Peron already had his illegal one that he's been running for years. We had to ask Dennis Peron for permission to open ours because he was kind of like the godfather of the entire movement. And he allowed us. And at that time, I learned all about the struggle and all about what an incredible hero he was, of how and how cannabis was really legalized for the LGBTQ movement, particularly the AIDS crisis. And so for about 25 years, really wanted to tell the story. And Chris and I finally teamed up, fortunately 3 months before he passed away, to interview Dennis Peron, the hero.
So you got to know Dennis Peron, personally beforehand by getting permission. What was he like when you actually sat down for his last days?
Dennis is like, he's one of those kind of people, like the 1 in a million type of people. When you look in their eyes, you just know there's something special there, that this guy is like, he's done stuff, right? He's made important change in society, and it takes a bit of charisma to do that. And like, although he, he was really getting on in his years. He had a stroke and couldn't really speak, so you had to kind of learn to listen. We used to call it speak Dennis, because he was a bit difficult to understand. You could just, he still had that like air about them, like up until his, like, I was with him 3 days before he passed, and I was in his bedroom, and there was like 12 people in there hanging out because everybody just wanted to be around Dennis, all the local people from the Castro, young, old, everything. And he's he's a very complicated guy, but very charming, let's say.
So it wasn't hard to convince him to be part of this series then?
He really wanted it. You could see in the spark of his eyes when we started interviewing him. It's almost that it felt like he died in peace, that he really wanted this story to be told. He saw how big cannabis legalized is everywhere. It's recreational, people flying in jet planes, and people forgot where the struggle it came from. And it was, for him, it's not only about himself, but it was about the movement overall. And he really wanted this story to be told, to give props and respect to where this all came from. So he was really honored, and it was really fun to see him in going through struggling. It was last few months of his life, but he just lit up when we were interviewing him. So it was really nice.
Now, there's so much information that you guys included into your documentary series. So how and where did you guys want to start all this? You guys made it into a series rather than the movie.
Yeah, I think we started with the idea of like a 90-minute film, and then it just got bigger than that, and we wanted to like take to a couple tangents and talk about some of the Tony Sarah and Brownie Mary in later episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes you've seen, but Kip and I are big Grateful Dead fans, and we love the music, and we love the way it goes off in tangents. And we wanted to also include a lot of like San Francisco history, because San Francisco is a character in this film as much as anything is. And, that's why we include a little snippet of Jonestown and the the Harvey Milk stuff's incredibly important. You know, that was Dennis's best friend. He financed him, and although we've heard the Harvey Milk story before, it's been a while for some people. And even one of the production assistants that was working on the set one day, she was really young, just out of school, and she asked if people actually died of AIDS, right? So I think it's important to refresh things like that. But it's more like we wanted to have fun with it, right? We wanted to make an entertaining film and series with like these brilliant characters, and we wanted to dive into each of them a little bit. So if that's what you're referring to, how there is a lot of information. But yeah, when we started out 90 minutes and it ended up being, you know, a little under 4 hours.
So in the end, how many episodes are there? Because I've watched a couple of episodes, and it almost felt like, to me, with just a couple episodes I watched, it's almost like a story of San Francisco, like you said.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say San Francisco is one of the main characters, but yeah, there are 4 episodes in total, and each episode has its own kind of story arc. So there's always kind of a protagonist, antagonist, and each episode has a different villain per se. So episode 3 seems to be like a lot of people's favorites. We haven't, if you're interested, we're happy to provide the 3rd and 4th episode for you too, without a doubt. We're putting 2 out there to get people hooked and show them what it's all about.
Most definitely, it's very captivating, and not to mention that I was totally amazed the fact that you guys managed to pull a lot of old footage. I have no idea where you guys got all this from.
Yeah, we dug really deep on that, especially like some of the 90s stuff, and even some of the Harvey stuff that like we were digging into scholastic archives at like UCLA. We wanted to try and find some different stuff that hadn't been shown before too. And I think we checked some of those boxes. But the archival, like making an archival doc and it's 4 parts, like, and you want to show stuff that hasn't been shown before, like it's not easy. There's lots of digging. Our archival producer crushed that one for sure. Great.
And Kip, what out of this, an entire series, because you had that business, what do you think was most effective and thankful for that affected your business?
What's more affected our business, or what was that?
Yeah, what was the most effective thing that that kind of what was the strong point that led to your business today?
Well, business today. Well, the business, when I had the Cannabis Club, that was back then. Right now, I have a film production company that we do other films. So back then, I'll just say one thing. The biggest thing that stood out was back then when we had the business, the Cannabis Club that we had next to Dennis's, is that back then it was 90% AIDS patients and the other 10% was cancer. And to see now, if you go to any club, it's probably you probably have 10% of actual serious illness. And so just seeing the struggle and where it came from, where it is today, it's so very interesting.
Great. Now, in the series, obviously with the old footage, you had to use animation to fill in the gaps. Could you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I think, choosing an animator is a huge task because there's so many options, and we wanted something that was going to align with kind of the vision. And, there was just this certain big moments that, you don't have footage for, especially when you're talking about stuff that happened in the 70s and it's people telling stories. So, I don't know. We love our Drew Christie is our animator at Kala Kala Animations up in Seattle, and it was such an important task, and we really were like going for a unique look that would fit the film, and we think we did a great job on that one, or that they did a great job on that one. We're super happy with those. What did you think of those?
I think it made the storytelling very interesting, especially it almost seems inputting a little humor into that storytelling.
Yeah.
That's important. I mean, that's, everything is really, there's quite a bit of gravity to like the whole story, but there's also this like continual cat and mouse game of like how funny it was that like Dennis kept getting arrested, and like, and then it later on in the episodes, there's a Brownie Mary comes in and she's like this, grandma that's like selling pop brownies and getting arrested. And so there is a lot of humor, and like that was definitely one of the things that we tried to accomplish with the animation.
What kept Dennis going through all these years? Because for most of us, getting harassed by police once would have been good enough.
He thrived on it. He thrived on it. It's kind of like how, in a totally different way, how Trump thrives on his antagonist, his villain. If it wasn't for someone going against him like Dan Lundgren, who's in the film, if it wasn't for those, it wouldn't be as fun for him. Part of the fun for him was that going up against the government, going against these things that were very challenging. Is just one of those individuals who just had that mischievous, this internal 12-year-old, 14-year-old energy of just looking into getting into trouble and doing something that you're not allowed to. But then the drive that really was the foundation is that it's for a purpose. And that's what really drove him, that it actually really does make a difference. So he loved doing that anyway, but the drive of helping others was his main passion.
Yeah, and I think that is the way that they thought of it. To change laws, you have to get arrested and try your battle in court. And then, so he was arrested like 32 times. And with really good lawyers, they were able to like make some serious like societal change by being arrested, which is like, it's more than I would probably bite off personally. Like, I don't think I'd like to like be spending time in prison in order to affect laws, but I really admire it. I admire the tenacity and the mischievousness of Dennis Peron and his cohorts.
Now, because you guys went back way back in history, a lot of people either moved on or passed away. Was there anyone that you wished you interviewed?
I could tell you one is Gilbert Baker. He is the guy who made the very first rainbow flag. And he was really good friends of Dennis. He worked in the club. And they would tell me stories about him. And he would, like when they were first making the flag, they would bring it over to Dennis's house and, oh, what do you think about this? And it's like and I love that he made the flag and he like didn't trademark it or copyright it so that everyone could use it. And then it's like, within like a few years, it became this like huge symbol of the LGBTQ community. And it was all just because of this, like one guy's decided to make a flag one day, right? Like, I don't know. So I wish I could have interviewed him and talked to him more about that.
Yeah, that was another tied to Dennis Peron. Another one I would say is Brownie Mary. She's in the film, but she passed away, and it'd been really fun to interview her.
Yeah, I do. I was astonished on how much history and a lot of things that we know today that we didn't, know the history behind it throughout your entire documentary series, which is terrific. But one more thing before I let both of you guys go. As people watch your series, what is the one most important take you hope that they walk away with?
Big one is that one person can really make a difference. One person can make a difference, and that to see if anyone's in the cannabis movement now, to show them where it truly came from, and to honor and respect that it came mostly from the LGBTQ movement through the AIDS pandemic, and one very bold man surrounded by a bunch of very, very bold, brave activists.
Great. What about you, Chris?
I think that was well said. I mean, you got to fight for what's right. And it would be nice if people there's a lot of, like Kip alluded to earlier, there's a lot of marijuana millionaires out there now flying around in private jets, and they have no idea of how medical marijuana and cannabis legalization came to be. So it'd be nice to pay some respect to those that came before you, I guess.
Most excellent. Well, I certainly hope to watch your third and fourth episodes down the road because it is fascinating to learn a lot, not just about Dennis, but also about San Francisco and this entire movement. So, Kip, Chris, thank you very much for carrying this conversation about Cannabis Buyers Club.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
you
Gabe.
so
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.